living la vida low carb. This show is changing lives. We talking about your diet, trying to get you feeling right. Cut up them avocados, fry some eggs. Time to explore the longest running health podcast, hosted by Jimmy Moore. Time to give up the crappy garbage. We're getting into ketosis. Every day is a new step to your goal. Yeah, you're getting closer, motivated and focused. Don't stop, just go. Time to get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com.
I recently put out the call for anybody that wanted to be on my podcast to come on my podcast, and Maria chimed in and was like, yeah, I've got something for you, Jimmy. And so she's a little nervous, so let her be very welcomed here today. What's up, Maria? There she is.
Hi. How are you?
I am well. I'm very excited to talk to you here today. Again, Maria Hatzimarkos. Did I say it right?
You said that perfectly. Did you practice?
I practiced about 10 times. I'm like, all right, it looks like Hatzimarkos. So let's just say Hatzimarkos. See what happens.
That's it. You know what? Just Maria's perfect. That's great.
Yes. What origin is that name?
Greek.
Oh, it's Greek. Okay.
Yes.
From that part of the world. It wasn't quite Italian, so Greek. Good. Okay.
Yeah. Not far.
So Your KeToRRific Journey, you guys, is who she is here on Instagram. Go check her out. She is a keto coach and baker, keto baker, certified keto nutritional coach. Who did you get the certification from with that?
With Dr. Berg.
Oh, and Dr. Berg's course. Okay.
Yes, yes.
What's that?
I'm sorry, the line is cutting. I lost you there for a sec, but I think you're back. Okay.
Oh, I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, well, you're back. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, couldn't resist. And she's all about keto, low carb, paleo, really anything that's going to make people healthy. And this is one thing that Maria wanted to talk about is she's kind of tired of people saying, well, I'm too old, I'm too sick, I'm too this, I'm too that to get healthy. And she's going to make the case here today that literally anyone can get healthy. It's possible for you. Yes, you skeptical one out there, you can actually get healthy as well. So we're going to dive into that here in just a minute. But let's talk about you, Maria. What's your story? How did you get interested in being healthy yourself?
Well, first of all, I need to thank you. It pretty much began with you in 2014. So thank you for taking the time, for reaching out to me and for us doing this together, because it's a privilege. It's been like 7 years later and here we are. So in 2014, my husband woke up one morning and said, Maria, I'm going to eat a certain way. And he starts explaining me the keto way. And you guys, I'm being honest, I thought he was crazy. We're both Greek, coming from origin that everything is surrounded by food, celebrations, birthdays, weddings, you name it. You cannot come into my house even today and there will not be food on the table. That's how I was brought up.
Yes.
So I was just a lovely wife and I said, okay, you've done your research. I want to help you. I want to support you. That's the least I could do. Story short, within 3 months, because he did his research, and that's where I said it leads to you. It all began with you, Jimmy. He had listened to your podcast starting in 2014, and he forwarded me things about cookbooks, etc., at least to support him. 3 months into it, he reversed his type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
Med-free, stopped everything, stopped about almost 10 pills, because when you're diabetic, unfortunately, it's a cocktail of stuff, as we all know, that they give us. He also has multiple sclerosis. And I am a true believer that food is medicine, because the doctors thought things would be a lot worse and the lesions are going down. His doctor says, we don't know what you're doing, but just keep it up. It was only when I fell ill, I ended up hurting my back, and it pretty much just pushed things out, I guess. I think my body was just full of inflammation, telling myself, oh, this is normal. My mother had it. Oh, this is normal. My dad, my grandmother, my aunt, my uncle, we think around genetics. So it was just by me hurting my back that, boom, just everything came out. So with my chiropractor that I was seeing, my naturopath that I was seeing at that time, and indirectly my one of my doctors was a blessing in disguise. I know back then we were a bit upset because he was my rheumatologist because I had pain everywhere. They threw me into a bucket with so-called fibromyalgia. So there was a whole bucket of symptoms and stuff. And my rheumatologist at that moment, I was on a cocktail of medications as well. I couldn't get out of bed, fatigue, pain, couldn't concentrate. So my last appointment with him, he said, since the medication's not working for you, Maria, there's no point for you to see me again. And I remember I was in shock, and my husband was actually with me. He's like, how can you not help my wife? How can you not help me?
Yes.
But now I look back, and it was a blessing in disguise because he told me, telling me, I am a medical doctor. I prescribe medication. If it's not working, bye-bye. So that's why, along with my husband's help, my naturopath, here we are. Got very, very passionate about the lifestyle, seeing the results. Found a way to get certified, which led to my passion of cooking and baking since I grew up in that. And I couldn't find products out there that didn't have all these extra fillers and you know, all these other things that I'm not, like a bit, as I like to say, everyone, sometimes people call me the keto police because I'm very peculiar with these extra things that are in there, right? That's why I started the baking service. So here we are. That's the summary. Yeah, that's a short version.
Yeah. And your story about the exasperation with the medical system is not an uncommon one. I probably get people writing to me on some level every single day of, I was doing well with keto, I was doing everything great, and then my doctor said I have high cholesterol. My doctor said I have this number out of that number out of whack, and I should get off the diet immediately. And I think this is one of the reasons why people think health is not possible for them, because they're not getting reinforcement from this leader that they have put in their lives to tell them, hey, you're going to win. And they don't always have all the answers. I often joke, this is the reason why they call it practicing medicine, because they still have to practice out yet.
They're human. They're human like the rest of us. So, yeah.
It's even worse than that, Maria. Yes, they're human. They are apt to mistake because of that. But they're just not trained in helping patients totality. People go to their doctor under this strange auspice that the doctor has all the knowledge of everything possible related to your health, including your nutrition. And that's the big blind spot of allopathic medicine. Extreme medicine is they know nothing about nutrition. I remember giving Keto Clarity to my doctor, and he kind of rolled. He kind of rolled his eyes at me because he's like, I was like, what do you know about the ketogenic diet? Well, I know it's going to put you into ketoacidosis. I said, so you're telling me you know nothing about the ketogenic diet? Thank you for confirming that. It's a shame because people look to doctors to make them healthy, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still have certain struggles when we look towards that. Because my husband, Tony, the only medication he takes right now is for his multiple sclerosis. And he does want to stop it, but it's a bit of a risk. It's always in the back of our head, what if, right? Because it's been, my son's turning 14 this weekend, and he was 3 months old when he was diagnosed. So, you know, and before he was taking these injections and his body was full of toxins, he was passing through the airport and it was buzzing. The alarm was going off.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's another total different story. So we kind of persuaded the doctor to change medication, but now all of a sudden this new medication is causing him triglycerides. And they want to put him back on statins. And my husband's like, no, I have worked so hard to get off of this, you know.
And the medications don't even touch the triglycerides. So it's absurd.
Exactly.
For triglyceridemia, it doesn't touch triglycerides. The number one way you lower triglycerides is carbohydrate restriction.
And that's been being done for 7 years straight now. He does not budge.
Yeah,
so it's the medication. It's one of the symptoms. We looked it up. It's one of the symptoms of the medication. Artificially
raising his triglycerides, that's not a health issue that he needs a medication for. It's a, hey, maybe the medication that's causing that needs to be adjusted. And so
Absolutely. So,
what did his triglycerides get up to taking this med?
To tell you the truth, I don't know the numbers by heart, but that's, yeah.
But out of the range, what you're saying.
I've lost you again. I'm sorry.
Healthy, out of the range of healthy?
It's high from what to the doctor's perspective, it's on the high side. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's high.
The range that they like is 0 to 150. And so if the doctor is saying high, it's well over 150, probably well over 2, maybe 300, which if he's carbohydrate restricted and he's got 200 to 300 on his triglycerides, that ain't normal. Because usually when you carbohydrate restrict, it easily falls below 100.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we know because all these years he's never had that issue, and it's all of a sudden with the new medication. So it just goes back to what you're saying, is that unfortunately we don't have that support that we would like from the medical system. It's
And look, I'm not trying to bash on mainstream medicine.
No, not at all.
With a disease like MS, you don't want to mess around.
Absolutely.
They're necessary and all the things. But from a whole health perspective, and from the topic that we're talking about here today, why healthy is possible for literally anyone, you almost have to look outside of the mainstream medical system to be able to find that kind of ability to heal yourself. And look, I'm going to make this point, Maria, because I know you believe this. I think we all have the onus to make ourselves healthy. It's not your doctor's job. It's not a dietitian's job. It's not a public health official telling you to take something in your arm that you don't want's job. It's your job to make yourself healthy.
It's kind of, it's like mind over matter, and it's not easy. It's not easy. And as I like to tell, whether I'm talking to friends or clients or whomever, it's you need to find your why, and your why needs to be huge. And maybe that's why for myself and my husband, it was huge. Like, he has some chronic health issues, which even fibromyalgia are some chronic health issues. Like, I'm able to get out of bed because I decided. And it's, as I said, I was there. And I know it's not easy. But it's possible. And that's what we have to keep on reminding ourselves is, yes, I could do it. There's going to be obstacles on the way. There definitely will be, but just find your why. That's what I tell everyone. You just have to find your why, and it is possible. And it's because, as I mentioned to a lot of people as well, could you imagine how if we could able to prevent disease? If we could take, as I like to say, Western medicine with Eastern medicine together, how many things we could avoid.
Real Good Foods is one of the fastest growing frozen food companies in the U.S. Everything they make is nutrient dense, high in protein, low in carbs, and made from real food ingredients. They make food for every occasion: breakfast sandwiches, poppers, enchiladas, entrees, and pizza. So whether you're on a keto diet, trying to cut back on your carbs, or just trying to eat healthier, they make super convenient and tasty options. RealGoodFoods.com and @RealGoodFoods on social media.
Everything about chronic diseases of civilization, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, obesity, they're all diseases of civilization. And so if you just, like you said, if I break my arm, I want to go see conventional medicine. They know how to put an arm back together again. If I need to help heal inflammation from within, I need to look at some of these other modalities from functional medicine and other nutritional health types of things that will help with that. Like, I don't understand why it has to be this either or proposition when it comes to why don't we
team effort.
Yeah, why don't we have these centers where you have a mainstream medical doctor, you have a functional medicine doctor, you've got an educated dietitian, you've got this person dealing in mindset, psychology, and psychiatry. It seems like if you had a clinic that had this totality of all the things you could be dealing with in one place, that's the perfection model. And yet that doesn't exist anywhere that I know of.
No. And things might be, I'm not sure, I could be totally wrong because I live in Canada. Things are getting better, but I believe in the US, you could find a like a natural doctor. Here, it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Very.
In Canada, they are vilified. Natural health doctor, even Dr. Fung with his fasting clinic there in Toronto.
Who knows what he's going through? Yeah.
Oh, I know what he's going through because I get the behind the scenes dirt. It ain't good, and they're putting so much pressure on him, and he gets so many hate emails and threats. I don't want to get into it much, but
absolutely, but
he gets a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't realize. And so, yes, we're very fortunate in the States that we can go see a naturopathic physician. We can go see a functional medicine doctor. We can go virtually over the internet and talk to people that are medical people that can help us with some of these things and have lab tests run, blah, 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 blah. But the problem is access to those things and acknowledgement that they exist out there for the vast majority of our population. They don't know about it. I think about like my parents, their generation, they just obediently go to a doctor because that's where you go to get, and they don't know about all of these things that are online. Now, my mom knows because I'm sitting here like, you know, telling all the time. Internet, so he has no clue.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I guess the good news is over the years, we are seeing that community growing more and more. It took people such as yourself to stick at it. And as I say to everyone, the key is it's education, it's sharing, and awareness. We got to keep at it. We just have to. That's all we could do. Yeah, we're going to get shut down, but we've got to restart. We got to keep at it. But as I tell everyone that surrounds me, I'm just sharing. I'm not pushing, and I'm talking out of experience. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And so just we have to keep at it. And it's sharing, sharing, sharing. That's all we could do, and educating. And hopefully, you know, and hopefully people will, and hopefully one day people will realize, you know, and I tell them it's never too late. It's never.
See, when you pause, you make me think you're done talking, and my instinct is to start talking. And so when you start talking,
sorry.
What?
Yeah, sorry about that. It's for some reason, I think it's our connection. Our connection is cutting. I'm getting the same thing.
On my end, you have not cut out at all. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Good.
But guys,
good.
I'm going to say that is Maria Hatzimarkos, and she is from Your KeToRRific Journey over on Instagram. Go check her out. She is a baker as well as a keto coach. I'm looking at your link tree as some of the things that you're doing there. Definitely go check her out. She talks about the different ingredients that are out there and how she's kind of a strict keto person. The keto police lady, that's all right. We need keto once in a while. She's got a YouTube channel that you should definitely go check out. And obviously different like support groups on Facebook and things like that. Tell us about this bakery. I'm curious, what made you start a bakery?
Well, when I first jumped on with my husband, I realized that sometimes social gatherings or birthdays or let's be honest, as a woman, there's sometimes during the month that we'll crave because our hormones, you know, we're not actually maybe craving, but because of that jolt of the hormones, we want something. And when I started looking what was out there, as I said, because I'm picky with ingredients, I go, let me give this a try. And I just started playing with ingredients, having fun with it, just baking for us at home. Had certain people try them when they would come over. They had no clue it was keto, low carb, paleo. They had no clue. And they're like, oh, this is good. You should do something with it. And there we are. Yeah, that was 2018. I began.
So you have a storefront? Is that how you sell?
No, I work more like a catering service. I work out of home. I have everyone say, place your order by Monday for a pickup or delivery for Thursday and Friday. I'd rather bake it fresh for the time being. People have asked me to be in stores, but I'd rather have it baked freshly and get to know my client face to face for the time being.
Hey, it's cool. I love anybody that helps this lifestyle more accessible, more doable and sustainable. I personally like to lean more carnivore because it's just so easy to just eat meat and foods, but that's me. And I realize not everybody has that desire. want the variety, they want the familiar foods, blah, blah, blah. I think what you're doing is wonderful for those newbies, especially that just kind of get started and they're trying to get off of what I call crappy garbage and onto better options. And so your KeToRRific journey, definitely you're doing that on what you're doing. But let's get back to the end, because getting healthy is possible for anyone. There's going to be somebody who's going to get mad at that assertion because they're like, Jimmy, you don't understand. I have XYZ going on in my health, and there's no way I can turn that around. And I've had many people on this show, people like Rebecca Farmer had 20 different diseases that she was severely underweight and she gained back weight, and now she's vibrantly healthy off of all the medication she was taking for 10 plus autoimmune diseases plus 20 overall, including Lyme disease and C. diff, and I mean down the line. And I've got several friends in my life that have had this whole poly disease thing going on. So I don't think people realize the power of nutrition and lifestyle to heal all of these diseases.
I know, and I couldn't agree more. It's incredible what food could do. It's like we're going back to our ancestors, right? It's exactly that. That's how you had the simplest thing back, in the years. It's like when you weren't feeling well, what would your great grandmother or grandmother say? You're not feeling well. Let me make you a broth. Here you go. Take this healing bowl of broth, right? Or these with herbs and, like put this on your skin if you're having a rash, or drink this tea or whatever, Let's
back last pandemic in 1918. I remember seeing some photos when the current pandemic came out. I remember seeing photos from the 1918 pandemic where they had hospital beds outside so that these patients could get exposed to sunlight, because they knew even then, in the rudimentary medical system that they had even then compared to now, they knew inherently that sunshine was going to kill what was ailing them and was going to give them benefits. They didn't know about the vitamin D synthesis at the time. They didn't know about some processes, but they just knew that was a positive health modality. And I think sunshine exposure, grounding, breathing, meditation, all red light therapy, cold exposure, these are the things that nobody is hearing about that could make health possible for anyone, along with diet and exercise.
Yes, that takes a combination. It definitely takes a combination. Absolutely. And the mind is a huge one. The mind was, that's why meditation, even Reiki. I don't know if you've heard of Reiki, which is with energy healing. It's incredible. So it's anything in the natural form is a powerful, powerful tool to heal the body and just keep it going. It's like we're like a car engine, right? It always needs maintenance. We got to keep on going. We got to take care of it. We can't just leave it. And I wish I knew about all of these things years ago. So that's what I even tell my kids. I have 2 teenage boys. It's everything that I'm trying to drill in your mind, whether it's take a couple minutes during the day and just breathe, or teaching them how to read labels, or it's everything to avoid what I've gone through and what my husband has gone through, so that small percentage of genetics, trying to avoid all of that. So there's so many things that we could do, and it's absolutely right, as you're saying, it's a combination. It's definitely exercise. It is nutrition, anything for the mind, simple as going outside, as you mentioned, and just let the sun hit your face for a couple of minutes. There's a lot of things we could do. And as I tell everyone, it's never too late. I only learned this, I'm being honest, I only learned this in my 30s. I wish I knew way back then. But we were following the mainstream. Yeah.
32 when I started the Atkins diet, and here I am at 49 on the cusp of 50, and I'm glad, because I honestly believe, had I not at least started my journey with nutrition in 2004, I would probably be dead today. And people are like, oh, that's kind of morbid. What are you talking about, Jimmy? I'm like, my brother Kevin, he died after 8 years after having a series of heart attacks. He died because of the ramifications of his nutrition and lifestyle choices. And so why would it be any different we're full-blooded brothers. I was following in his footsteps. I would have definitely followed, maybe not died at 41, but I would have eventually died probably early. And I haven't had a heart attack. I haven't had any kind of diagnosis of a chronic disease other than, and so for me, I feel like I'm winning and beating that battle of so-called genetics. I kind of hate that idea.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I know.
That's another kind of obstacle to this, people not thinking they can get healthy. Well, everybody in my family has had diabetes. Everybody in my family is obese.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that I'm going to have it, so I'm going to eat the Big Mac and fries and a Coca-Cola. And they don't realize that they can change that very easily and very quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I've also been noticing, I'll give you an example, because we definitely have the big food industry there, right? It's straight in our face, right? So I can understand that it's hard, because as soon as you step out of your door, there's something right there to remind you. Years ago, I even read this thing, I can't remember where, that I think it's from the age of 2, kids recognize the McDonald's symbol from far. Okay? So it's in our faces. So I understand for a lot of us, it's hard. And it's, as you mentioned before, we look up to our doctors. It's the way we look up to whoever is controlling the food industry. We look up to the government. We look up to, like, because they're, for years, that's who's in our face. So take that, and it goes back to mind over matter, that we are I don't know, blame it that we're busy. I don't know what to blame it, but we all want instantaneous results. I've been noticing that. They want the quick fix. Everyone wants the quick fix, whether it's for their health or even food.
Because,
right?
Because it's been promised in our culture that in order to get healthy, it has to be quick, it has to be easy, it has to be bada bing, bada boom, it has to be the hottest trend. And I've been around long enough, 17 years, I have seen everything come and go. I've seen the Atkins diet on its way out. I saw primal paleo when it came on, and on its way out. I saw keto and it came on, and I was a part of that, and it's on the way out. Carnivore and real food and Whole30, and I could go down the list of all these things that people are always seeking to find the next big thing. And the next big thing, guys, is what works for you. Figure that out. Like that's the secret here on how you get healthy. It's not about some prescriptiveness of some popular diet. It's about finding what works for you and then doing it.
Exactly. Absolutely. And when we look at the side of food, we do need to take some time to do some preparations. Okay. I'm not saying that so no matter your background, demographically where you are, because definitely I understand if there's budgets and etc. It's totally normal. It's the world we live in. But it's just keeping things simple. It's like we have to kind of get over that eating with the eye thing, as we say. We have this expression in Greek that we say that we eat with the eye. So we got to kind of get over that and understand the whys, the whats of nutrition and what it does to us to get over that obstacle, right? So just keeping things simple, and you don't have to go crazy in the kitchen. You have zero culinary experience. It's as simple as, a salad and frying up a piece of meat. And if you are leaning towards carnivore, then by all means, have fun with your meat. It's just frying it up or barbecuing it. Within 20 minutes, you could have a healthy meal.
I can eat with my eyes very strongly, Maria.
So can I.
Listen, with a big old plate of brisket, I will eat with my eyes. I promise you.
That is a wonderful, wonderful landscape.
Yeah. It was glorious at that point.
Absolutely.
I've never been to Texas and gotten some brisket from Texas.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I could just imagine. I hope to be able one day come towards there and be able to experiment and see all that lovely southern barbecued food. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of it right now and I'm drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. But yes, and I use that expression because I always like to bring it up. If anyone knows the Greek culture, the European culture, everything is surrounded around food. So if I was able to do this, that's what I'm saying, anyone can. And I still create in the kitchen. when I have that extra time, I'll do something a bit more complicated or more fancy or whatever. But so that's it. It's possible. It's possible. When I mean it, I truly, hopefully, everyone finds their why and they could do this for themselves. And as you said, it doesn't have to be. It could be, call it whatever, anything. It's as simple as just limiting your sugar. That will make a huge impact on anyone's health.
Are you tired of playing the mask game? Me too. That's why I wanted to tell you about the Unmask. This is a breathable, completely breathable. It covers, you can't even see that it's breathable, but it's breathable. Whether you're going on a plane, having to go into a store and wearing this thing, playthemaskgame.com is how you can get this mask. They come in all kinds of colors and everything. In fact, right there, you can see right through it what it is, but when you're wearing it, it does not look like it's anything different, but it's breathable, baby. Playthemaskgame.com. And if all else fails, just yell, Opa!
That's it. That's it. See, it helps the mind. It helps the mind. Put on some music and dance in your kitchen. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, it all matters. It all puts you in a right kind of frame of perspective about getting healthy. And I feel like a lot of health, the onus has been thrown on nutrition. And again, nutrition is paramount. Like you said, if we could just get people to eat less sugar and less sweet things overall, that's probably a huge move in the direction we need to go. But there's just so many parts of health that aren't embraced, like some of those biohack things we were talking about earlier. What do you think it's going to take to get people to look at those things as part of the journey and not solely look at diet and, well, I didn't lose weight on a diet, so therefore the diet failed. Keto didn't fail you if you tried it and you didn't lose weight. It was because nutrition alone was not the answer.
I believe it's going to take maybe someone to share their experience. I think that is huge because I know for myself that's what it was. It took a friend or my husband or someone, because I know for myself when it came to meditation and Reiki, it was a dear friend of mine who said, hey, have you ever thought of this? And I was like, oh, what is that? And she told me how it helped her, and it kind of triggered like a light bulb. I'm like, ooh, and I'm being totally honest, especially I believe right now I'm going through something hormonal. So I might have stalled on my so-called nutrition weight loss. So to me, it's not just about weight. It's really healthy from the inside out. So that's why I try to meditate, and I've joined some meditation groups, and I go to do Reiki once in a while to unblock the mind and these other energies around the body. So for me personally, it took a friend to tell me, hey, try this. So it goes back to how I truly believe that we need to constantly be sharing. Share your story, because it took a long time for me to open up. I have to be honest. It's, my Greek fat wedding, that shy girl. So I tell everyone that was me. Doing this, coming in front of a camera and talking to someone, oh my gosh, I'd be hiding in a corner and turning red. It took a lot for me to share my story and to start resonating with other people. So I think that's huge. And this is a long shot, but hoping one day it will take what I mentioned before, the Eastern and Western medicine to come together. And I think if it takes that, it'll tell everyone, oh my gosh, okay. If the government is saying so, if my doctor is saying so, if the nurse is saying so, as much as I wish it wasn't that, I think that would be huge. That would be huge. But for the time being, we got to stick to what we believe in and constantly share.
You mentioned my big fat Greek wedding. You know what I remember that would be more than anything was the older people spraying Windex on any, like, real?
Yeah. When we saw it in the cinema, I was there with a lot of friends, and they were turning to me and they were laughing in the cinema, and they were kept on pointing to me. It was hilarious. That was a while back, but I still remember. Yeah.
Yeah. what, 25 years ago that movie came out. So yes, yes. Somebody mentioned, repeat again how your husband reversed his type 2 diabetes.
He went pretty much strict keto. He went hardcore. As I said, he just woke up one morning, he had done his research, and said, that's it. I'm cutting out sugar. I'm cutting out the breads, the cereals, because I'm not going to say carbs because we were still eating salads and vegetables, but all of the processed, everything, all of that was gone. And within 3 months, only 3 months. That's all it was. And when he went back to his doctors, and his doctor was shocked when he saw his blood results, and his doctor said, it was endocrinologist, said, what did you do? And my husband actually turned and told them, I did your job. That was a bit harsh, but that's my husband. I love it. I love it the way he says things straightforward.
Yes.
And his doctor actually turned and said, so you're going against 2,000 years of tradition? He goes, your mom must be upset. Not your wife, your mom. I was laughing, but that's what it is. It's cutting out sugar, cutting out all the processed carbs, eating healthy proteins, essential fats, the basics.
Yeah. Look, I don't think medical doctors need to be in the business of discouraging people getting results. Instead of having that knee-jerk reaction of, how can you turn your back on 2,000 years worth of nutrition? Instead of saying, oh my God, that keto diet's going to kill you, it's going to give you a heart attack. Never mind, every marker on your panel gets better. Maybe you lost some weight, other positive things in the health. Why aren't those medical doctors cheering them on? And then they kind of throw their hands up in the air and, well, I don't know what you're doing, but I guess keep doing it because it's working. That to me that's criminal, if you ask me. Rather than mock them, why not try to learn from them? All the good keto doctors, that's how they started, really, is either they themselves had a success or one of their patients. I know Dr. Westman, who was the co-author on my Clarity book, that's how he got interested in the Atkins diet. He had 2 different patients come to him and said, hey, Dr. Westman, I got healthy eating no carbs and eating this Atkins diet. And so it made Dr. Westman, who at the time was not interested in nutrition at all, made him curious enough to want to go meet the man that wrote that book. So he goes to New York City, meets Dr. Atkins, and shadows him in his clinic. And wow, look at all these people and all the results of the changes in their health. And he got interested because he was curious. Why don't we have more curiosity amongst the medical professionals? They just love to do things and put them in a box and, oh, there's no pill for that, so let's move on to the next one. I don't know what you're doing, keep doing it, go to the next one. Oh, here's this pill, go to the next one. Oh, here's another pill. And it just seems such a broken system.
It's a vicious circle. It's just a vicious circle. It's like that hamster. It's like the hamster that keeps on going and can't reach its destination. And thank goodness for doctors as Dr. Westman and so many others that realize, hey, if some of my patients have success stories, let me look into it a bit more. And that's what it should take. Like, I understand they went to school, they were taught a certain way, but there's no harm on listening to my patient or doing more research and looking into things and saying, wait a second, like a little light bulb, wait a second, look at this.
Well, and you know what a lot of them have told me was they were unhappy as physicians until they found a low-carb, ketogenic, real food kind of approach. And then they got excited about coming to work again. They saw results rather than just managing symptoms of disease. They actually were curing disease. Like, from a psychological standpoint in the medical profession, don't you want to think that your work matters in the world? Don't you want to see actual patients get better and not just managed? To me, if you're in a position as a medical doctor or a physician assistant or even a nurse, and all you're doing is just managing symptoms, but you see the chronic disease continually getting worse and worse and worse, how depressing is that? Like, you're supposed to be these great healers, and yet you're not healing them. You're just managing them until they die.
I don't even know. I don't know. Like, I don't know how they're doing it. Like, absolutely, they're going to make themselves sick mentally, absolutely. Their mindset, like their bodies are going to shut down just from that. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. That's it.
I mean, and it's so true. Like the burnout rate is big, but I think it's because of the exasperation over not seeing results from what is supposed to work. Like they've been taught their lives, medications is the way to health, and they're realizing it's just not the case.
And that's why, as I mentioned earlier on, that my rheumatologist was a blessing in disguise, that he was honest with me, that he said, I am in the medical field and it's to prescribe medication. If I'm not prescribing you medication, there's no point for you to see me. I know back then, because not knowing what I knew that I was in shock and I was upset, but it was a blessing in disguise. It was. And again, we're not dismissing any of the, we're not dismissing, because we do need these medical doctors, but we need to take control of our own health.
Well,
we need to question it.
Well, we need medical doctors in the right context. I don't think medical doctors should be in the business of preventative medicine. I know that's what a lot of them have been used for many years. Yes, acute medicine, when you cut your arm, when you break your arm.
Yes.
And even when you have a heart attack, you need them to go into action to save your life.
To resuscitate you, yes.
Prevention aspect of it, that's what they've been talking about. We need preventative medicine. Well, the prevention is you have high cholesterol, and thus down the road you're going to have this potential for having a heart attack. So here, take this pill that doesn't do a damn thing to help you with the heart attack, not address the actual cause of the heart attack possibly happening, which is carbohydrates raising blood sugar and insulin, vegetable oils raising your inflammation levels, the stress in your life that you haven't been able to manage. Those are the things that are going to lead to a heart attack. And yet they say, here's this magic pill, keep doing all those other things, and 10 years from now you got a heart attack anyway. Oh well, I guess it didn't work.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. That's and the key word is prevention. It comes down to there. So if we could just prevent, that's what I'm saying. That's where everything else comes in, the Western and Eastern again. And I'm hoping one day that we would lead towards it, that so-called doctors will be able to do that, but it's going to take a lot of convincing and a lot of us sticking to our guns, as we say, and keep at it. And sorry.
You know what's happened is there's been this huge rise in alternative medicine. Functional medicine doctors are more popular now than they've ever been, even like nutrition-minded chiropractors and naturopaths, and just all these kinds of entities have just stepped up and said, okay, allopathic medicine, you have failed us and failed us greatly. People are frustrated. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so they're finding other options. And unfortunate for the medical system, the mainstream medical system, they could have prevented this. They could have seen where they have failed. And trust me, I've been at this 17 years trying to convince them how they could be better, and they haven't listened.
No.
Ketochow is a customizable shake mix that is also perfect for cooking and baking, giving you simple, nutritionally perfect meal options. Ketochow. Make keto easy. Discover your favorite flavor at jimmylovesketochow.com.
I know all the efforts that you've been. I've been listening and on top of things since the past 7 years. So congratulations, Jimmy. I don't know where you found the willingness to keep at this, because it is draining. I've been doing this for 7 years at home, but I've only been sharing the past couple of years. And there is times that it is draining. It is draining. So that's why I need to congratulate you and thank you, because we need to keep at this. We have to. The community hopefully will be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we stick together and to hopefully just educate everyone for prevention. It all comes down to that. It's not just covering up the symptom. It's not putting a Band-Aid over the cut and letting it heal. We need to figure out how to prevent that cut from happening. And you mentioned something, sorry, I feel like I interrupted you, sorry, about, how chiropractors and nutrition, the chiropractor that I'm even seeing right now, she's taking the initiative, and she knows I'm open to these things, that we're going back to, I could be saying these terminologies totally wrong, so forgive me if she's ever listens to this. It has with neuroscience, because we are all born to develop certain movements, certain functions. So some of these movements need to develop by a certain time and stop by a certain time. So depending if any of these things, if they did not happen or for some reason they got cut short, as we get older, could cause us certain health issues or pains and fatigue the way I'm experiencing. So we're going back to all of these. So it's things like if you never crawled, or if you never sucked properly on a bottle, or all these things. And it's impressive how a lot of these things go back to then. So it is towards a whole naturopathic and natural medicine. She's taken the initiative, and she was one of the people who said, hey, maybe you should cut out gluten, or maybe you should cut out sugar. She didn't tell me keto, but it was because of her also listening to her. So thank goodness, at least for these professions, and that others take the initiative to learn more as well, right? Because look at all these evolving things. I never heard of this neuroscience, and it goes back to since the day we were born and how we walked and how we that can cause certain health issues. So it's impressive. So at least thank goodness that we have that type of community that keeps on wanting to learn and keeps on wanting to share.
And that is the key. Like when we think we've figured everything out is when we need to slap ourselves upside the head and go, no.
Yeah.
I've been at this 17 years and I have seen so many things evolve, and things that we thought we knew 15, 16, 17 years ago, it ain't even close to being real now because new evidence has come along. And this is where I think mainstream medicine has gotten it wrong. They're still doing things as if it's 1950. And they have to the 21st century with things like triglyceride to HDL ratio and looking at insulin and having an insulin ketone index. Like all of these things matter, and they're just not to the newer things and the subfractions of cholesterol, LDL cholesterol particles. They're not looking at any of that. It's just LDL bad, total cholesterol bad. You're gonna die of a heart attack. And it's like, wow, the 1950s are calling and they want their nutrition advice back.
It's very sad. It's very sad, and you would think with all that knowledge, just put it that way, you would say, hey, it's not working. My patients are just getting more ill, more and more. This is a topic that I think we could go on and on, because we've experienced it, and our loved ones have experienced, and our friends have experienced, and yeah.
So I have one more aspect of this topic I want to hit, and it's very relevant to what we're all going through. I've been going through over the past year and a half or so, and that's what we've been going through. I'm going to use code words so I don't get banned on YouTube, but
no worries.
It feels like if people haven't figured out that their health is in their control and their health is their responsibility, and that anyone can be healthy and boost your own immunity and do all the things that you need to do to take care of your vessel, in the last year and a half, you haven't figured that out by now, figure it out, because all this move for us to do things that are highly unnatural for us from a health perspective, that's what it's all about. They know we are vulnerable because our health is in shambles. And so that should be your impetus to try, at least to pursue health as much as you can, and don't fall for this inevitability that you're unfixable and you can't get healthy without some external pill or poke that's going to make you healthy.
Absolutely. And start anywhere. I'm a true believer of nutrition. Absolutely. Because I've experienced it for myself, and I'm still experiencing it, right? Because our bodies are constantly changing. That's why I also call my company Your KeToRRific Journey, because it is a journey. We're always evolving. It's always changing. We always have to make tweaks. But if for some reason you feel like you need to start with the mind, start with the mind. Start with meditation. Start with walks. Go do a Reiki session. Go get a massage. Anything. Start from somewhere, but just start. Just start.
Yes.
Do something for you. That's what it comes. That's what it comes down to.
We need that as a bumper sticker. Do something for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a nice one.
So that again is Maria Hatzimarkos. She is from Your KeToRRific Journey. Go check her out over on Instagram. Is your website also yourketorrificjourney.com or what?
I don't have a website yet. It's in working progress. Things were a bit delayed, but it will be. Like if you go and you actually Google that right now, something will pop up, but it's not to my liking yet. So that's why I haven't advertised it or pushed it out.
Right.
I've kept everything the same for Facebook, and everything is Your KeToRRific Journey.
Yes. And guys, I put out the call a couple months ago for people that want to come on my show. Maybe you're nervous about it, but come on. And this young lady was one of those people. I think she did a really good job here today. Maria, thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is an honor. It was an honor. I can't believe I met you in 2015 and I was able to have this wonderful.
What conference was that?
It was your book tour. It was your book tour. Yeah, you signed. Yeah.
When I came.
Yeah, when you came, because I'm in the Montreal area.
Oh, I remember you now. Were you there with your family?
Yes. There's a picture. Yeah, there's a picture. And if you
you have teenagers now. They were smaller kids then.
Yes.
See,
yeah, I'll send you the picture, and if you remember also, I reached out to you, my goodness, it could be like over a year ago, and this is the thing that I love about you. You are so transparent, so lovable, so kind, that I am in the process of writing a Greek cookbook, and there is a section in my book that I'm putting my favorite books, and the books and the people within the naturopathic industry that influenced us to make these decisions. So I have a little blitz about everyone, and I asked you if that's okay if I could talk about you and put that picture inside. So that picture of us from 7 years ago. So hopefully the book will be out in the fall. There's been some delays because unfortunately because of the past year and a half. Global stuff that is happening. It was hard to work with certain people to accomplish this. But yes, thank you.
So I'll do you one better since we're here live on the air. I'll do you one better. If you want a blurb for your book, I would be happy to write a blurb, a foreword, whatever you think.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Really? Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I would be so honored. So honored. Thank you. You're gonna get me into tears. Of happy tears.
Yeah. Tears, happy tears. That's what I'm in the business for, is making people happy. So, Maria, thank you. You were wonderful today. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon with another interview. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jimmy. Bye, everyone.
Get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com. Woo!
Have you experienced the dreaded keto flu? Did you know that most of these symptoms are actually due to your body dumping excess electrolytes? This is where Element comes in. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low carb, or paleo diet. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, or if you practice intermittent or extended fasting, if you're physically active, or sweat a lot. Add Element today and see how much better you feel and perform. use the URL drinklmnt.com/Jimmy.